Hey everybody, welcome to the Magic Weekly News Update for Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2017 on the Leek. I'm John as always, and there was a lot to talk about this week, surprisingly. I expected things to die down a little with WotC's week off coming up, but nope. Of course, I was partly featured in an article on Breitbart of all places, but that's about all the news time coverage that deserves. So moving on, Wizards CEO Chris Cox posted an article titled A Commitment to Each Other, Building a Community Together, which solidified Wizards' commitment to build the community with a 4-point poster that will be distributed to stores. Basically, it's stuff that any reasonable adult already should understand, but what we all need to do to build the community is put fun first, respect your play environment, welcome everyone, asterisk of course. We talked about that a few weeks ago. If you don't follow this, then you are not welcome. Yes, that's paradoxical, but that's how it works. And follow the rules. These are real simple. If you can't follow them, get out. Plain and simple. Up next, the PPR for RIX, hosted by LRR, was announced. That's the pre-release for Rivals of Ixalan, hosted by Reloading Ready Run. It'll be on January 5th, and the special guests will be Melissa DeTora from WotC, Chris Van Meter, and Evan Irwin and Ruben Bressler from the Magic Mike's podcast/live show. Erin from the show was also invited, but she couldn't make it due to having prior commitments as the community manager for Card Hoarder. These are always a great time, and I think the guests will be great, so mark your calendar. 2 new Judge promo foils were revealed. In upcoming Exemplar and Conference packs, judges can expect to see Pendelhaven, which I'm sure a lot of Infect players will want to get their hands on, and Spellskite, which I'm sure a lot of people going up against Infect will want to get their hands on, and obviously a ton of other matchups. A couple very cool promos that hopefully some exemplary judges get their hands on. We got a spoiler for Rivals of Ixalan, and it shows off the new Ascend mechanic. Vona's Hunger is 2 and a black for a rare instant that has each opponent sacrifice a creature. Edicts are great, I'm sure this will see standard play, but why is it a rare? Well, because if you have the City's Blessing, then instead, each opponent sacrifices half the creatures he or she controls rounded up. How do you get the City's Blessing? Well, Vona's Hunger has Ascend, which says if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. So the mystery of City's Blessing is put to rest. Get yourself 10 permanents, cast a spell with Ascend, and it's yours and will power up spells that care about it in the future. Multiple people can have the City's Blessing as well, just in case you were wondering. It's not like Monarch, where only one player gets it and it trades back and forth. Now, being that I'm a limited guy, I'm not super sold on how well this plays out in Limited. 10 permanents is a lot. Counting lands certainly helps, but still, if we're looking at, let's say, turn 6, never missing a land drop, and having 4 creatures or enchantments or something on the board, I don't know. Sure, it happens, but I don't feel like it happens super commonly. I'll obviously have to play with the mechanic and the format, but I think this is going to be one of those cases where the non-City's Blessing half of the card has to be really good on its own, which luckily Vona's Blessing is, so I will probably first pick this when I see it. Do I expect to be making my opponent sack half their creatures a lot of the time? Not necessarily, but it will feel good when I do it. Finally, this week we got a pair of announcements. Dual decks are going away. The final dual deck will be Elves versus Inventors, which is kind of a strange matchup if we're looking at Kaladesh, where the Elves were Inventors, or at least using wood they were. But historically, of course, Elves have hated technology and progress and etc. But yes, this will be the last dual deck, which is a shame. They were great intro products for a pair of new players starting out, and I know a lot of casual players simply bought the dual decks as their sole way of playing Magic. Various members of the Dice Tower board game podcast/YouTube channel talk about doing that frequently. Now, this announcement had another announcement in the same article, which is the introduction of Challenger decks. Wizards says this is not a replacement, it's just 2 announcements happening at once, and you know me, I tend to believe what I'm told by Wizards rather than diving into some grand conspiracy theory, primarily because I don't remotely understand what people think WotC has to gain by lying about this, but whatever, conspiracy nuts will be conspiracy nuts. So what are Challenger decks? Well, Challenger decks are basically sounding like the event decks that we used to have. They're a 75-card deck, 60 main deck, 15 sideboard, that will be constructed and tuned to be competitive right out of the box at FNMs. Now, of course, you're not picking up a tier 1 deck for $30 that's going to win you a Grand Prix. But if they're like the event decks of old, you may very well be able to make the prizes with them without touching them, and they'll be very upgradable with singles. As well, they've mentioned that the process of building them has been changed so that they'll be built and produced much closer to the release of a set, instead of producing them, a year in advance, where they're so far out that they just have to guess about what the metagame is going to be. They're hopefully going to have a significantly better idea of what the metagame is when they build these decks, making them better. There will be 4 of these available on April 6th at an MSRP of $29.99, and they'll have many rares and at least 2 mythics, says the article. And that's going to wrap it up for the news this week. We'll see if there's any news next week. I'm not super sure there will be any just because Wizards takes the week of Christmas off. So we'll see if any news happens. As far as news on the channel, going into the new year, you can expect some new content. I am working on producing some Canadian Highlander content to go along with the push that has happened in the Canadian Highlander community lately of getting content out there with the North 100 podcast, of course. Various people have expressed interest in helping me out with that, including some people from that podcast. So yeah, hopefully I can get that off the ground and start producing some Canadian Highlander content. I'd love to figure out how to do some player run events as well. So if you do want to get into it, you can definitely look into building them. The decks are significantly cheaper online than they are in paper. A deck that was going to cost me something like, I don't know, $7,000 to build in paper is like $200 online. And of course, if you want to build something that's not ridiculously big combo with a Mox or two and etc., you can actually build a lot of decks for really cheap. I might even do some budget things like 10 ticket or 20 ticket Canlander things. So yeah, watch that space. Hoping to do some Canlander content as well. I'm hoping to do a couple of other things such as vlogs of other hobbies that I have. They won't be common, so don't worry. Magic isn't getting replaced. It might be like once a month or so. But I've got a lot of stuff that I like to do, and I like to share that with other people. Kind of like the parting gift on the DLC podcast, if anybody happens to listen to that. Basically just something that I enjoy that isn't Magic that I think maybe some other people would enjoy. So you can look forward to that. I'm going to trial it out with about one a month or so it's not going to be super common. Beyond that, we'll of course have Wacky Wednesdays, Spiky Saturdays, Crack-a-Pack Tuesdays, and Top 10 Thursdays. But if you have any ideas for content that you really want to see, definitely let me know. I'll probably do a year-end video, just kind of wrapping up the year and talking about the next year, so you can comment on that post as well when you see it go up. But if you do have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeek. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at facebook.com/TheManaLeek, twitch.tv/TheManaLeek, where I will finally be streaming on Saturday for my December stream. I've had a bunch of stuff that has stopped me from streaming this month, but the 30th, we're streaming. We're going to stream some Cube. And of course, you can find me at patreon.com/ManaLeek. If you like the content, click that thumbs up button. Click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see you all next time.